Hello friends, thanks for checking out Messier Gaming. My name is Joe. Today we're going to be taking a look at upcoming games this June 2022. We're going to be going from the 1st to the 5th and checking out all new and interesting games that I can find that I think are worth your attention. For starters, I figured I'd start talking about Xbox Game Pass games that are coming out, because I feel like a lot of people are getting a lot of value out of it, so we can let people know what's coming out, and then also not great at marketing and stuff. So for the first game on June 1st, For Honor is going to come to Xbox Game Pass, and this is the special edition of the one that's coming there. So For Honor is a kind of medieval combat sim game, multiplayer based game. Pretty fun, good time. I'd say if you've never checked it out before and you're can handle it, definitely take a look. Coming up next on June 1st, it's not something I necessarily recommend, but it's something I find really interesting. It's kind of an innovative take on the police simulation stuff that's happening on Steam a lot lately. It's like a turn-based thing, which I find kind of interesting. So it's not going to be exactly real to life, but I do think it's going to be pretty innovative if it does things properly, which is really interesting to me. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's coming out June 1st. I definitely recommend waiting on a review, making sure performance is there. Before we get going too much further, just remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff, because I like doing what I'm doing. I want to do more of it and get more of that information out to you. Appreciate it. Thanks. This is probably the most interesting game coming out on the 1st. It's going to be SILT by Spiral Circus Games. It looks like it's going to be a 2D perspective horror puzzle game. Looks pretty interesting. I think if you're a fan of the horror genre, if you like those games like Subnautica or We Have to Go Deeper or Barotrauma or something like that, this is kind of that same aesthetic that'll scratch that itch for you. Lots of creepy or cosmic horror stuff going on here. I think it's gonna really be a good time if you're into that horror stuff. So definitely check that out on all consoles and Steam on June 1st. Now on to June 2nd, the big day of this week. We're gonna start out with another indie game, but it's gonna be a VR one this time, The Last Clockwinder by Pontaco. This one's gonna be kind of interesting. It's a puzzle game where you make these robot clones of yourselves to solve these puzzle problems. It seems to be a pretty narrative experience as you do so if you're into that kind of thing, this looks pretty good, and it looks technically well done as well. And on to my personal pick for this week, Card Shark by Nerial, published by Devolver. It's not a card game, it's a game where you cheat at cards. And there's a story behind it. You find out all sorts of secrets about this French aristocracy set in France, Victorian France. It's got this awesome art style, beautiful orchestral music behind it. Seems all in all super interesting. I'm absolutely going to pick it up. I'd recommend, after some reviews, probably to make sure mechanics work okay. It's not too frustrating. You do as well. If you liked the 2D mobile card game Reigns, they're the same people that made that. Super good stuff. I totally recommend it. Also getting added to Game Pass on June 2nd, we got Ninja Gaiden, the Master Collection. This is going to be those 3D Ninja Gaiden games, not obviously the OG ones, but the newer ones that came out in the last like 10-15 years. These are all super fun. I definitely recommend playing them. I had a really good time playing them way back when, like on the 360 and stuff. But yeah, if you got Game Pass, it's gonna be as a free add-on for you, so go check it out. Definitely recommend playing those games. And to sort of close this one out, it's kind of like before, it's not really a recommendation per se, but it's more of something to take a look at if you're interested in the kind of game it is. It's going to be Empyre Dukes of the Far Frontier, and that's Empire with the E-M-P-Y-R-E, just because they're that cool, I guess. This is kind of going to go back to, it's sort of that Fallout atmosphere of the old isometric stuff. If you're interested in that kind of game, this might be something you like. The first game did not turn out so well, and this is their second chance at it. So wait for a review or two, see how the story goes and stuff like that. But if you're interested in that, this is something to take a look at when you haven't had a lot of good quality games for a while, so it's something to at least keep in mind. And that's coming June 3rd. And that's going to take us out for this week. There are some more games on the docket. It's a really short one. There's not a lot to talk about, but that's just because I've seen games on the list coming out where I think there's a quality issue, or I think that it's going to be riddled with microtransactions or anything like that, and so I'm not going to recommend anything like that. And I'm also not, there's a lot of games coming out that are like, they're coming out for console that weren't on them before, and I'm just not going to talk about those because there's just no point in it to me. But I hope you found this information to be valuable. I'm going to try to keep doing this kind of thing where I kind of gather together this information for these indie games. Other than that, check in next week for more of this when we go over next week. That's going to be June 6th onward. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, stay with the channel, check it out. I really appreciate all the help and support I can get to keep doing stuff like this.